There are a bunch of different methods for building on top of foundational models, right? So you have prompt engineering, you have fine tuning of models, so on and so forth. How do you think companies should be thinking about the best path to pursue as they think about building on top of foundational models? Is there sort of a certain framework you like to go with, or is it much more sort of company dependent?
One size doesn't fit all. That's what we learned, you know. And it is very dependent on the resources and the timeline and the expectations. This is not AWS, this is Yinal speaking, and I've seen our customers going through this journey, oh, I will increase my, productivity, I will increase my insight, I will use generative AI. But that depends on what kind of resources you have, what kind of timeline you have. And we learn together with our customers, usually the path is like from easier to more difficult. That's one way of I can put things up. Like one of them is directly using already built systems. Like we have a lot of solutions, as I mentioned, like the Connect and the Queue business, like ready to use. Next day, you just plug in the chat, the querying, that all works. That's one area. That's the easiest. And then you start bringing your own data sets. That's the RAG. That's usually, the next step. You just say, oh, I like it, but I want to do it securely with my own data sets, and suddenly you are one step closer. And now you are interacting with your own data in addition to what LLM brings you or the foundation model brings you, one step down. And you said, okay, I like this LLM, but it is, I want to actually fine tune this with my own, I want the answers this way, like I want it differently. Fine tuning comes next, so that requires, and when you switch from actually RAG to fine tuning, I think there's a big step there, then you really need to understand the technology way better, way deeper, and with more more technical resources. Again, with the tool sets, we are there to help, definitely trying to make the journey easier for our customers. And at the end of the spectrum, we have the builders of foundational models, which we work with them daily as well. And I think in terms of numbers, I think it's like a funnel, but the activity is almost everywhere. And it's a learning process. Some customers just jump in a wrong place, wrong time, but it depends on the skill set and the timeline of our customers.
Got it. And when you think about what enterprises are doing in AI as it relates to the ability to marshal resources, both in terms of team size and data sets, how is that shifting over the last 1 to 2 years? Meaning, we're seeing massive improvements in sort of the quality of models and new standards for connecting different types of data sets into models, such as Anthropic's MCP. So do you view it as, these models are getting so much better that it requires less people and like sort of a smaller critical mass of data to make them useful? Or is that an assumption just based on, sort of the improvement of the models? You still sort of need a critical mass of team and data to really get to a place where value is being created?
Yeah. In my personal experience, I think it is going in two ways. You are correct. It is getting easier. The models are getting more advanced, So if we were doing the same chatbot that we did like 4 years ago, it is like literally light years ahead. Right now, you have the chatbot in a few hours, with your own data even, like if you use Q, But the expectations are getting more complex now. Now, our customers are asking for more. Now, like we want to add like a very good question is like, okay, how can I merge the smart contracts I'm using with my AI agents? It is a very different question than, just, I want to build the chat interface, I think the time and the effort is not decreasing, maybe increasing the resources, but the deliverables are increasing in an exponential way. So there is no like a linear line of, okay, it's easier, so I need less resources, The expectations are getting higher. I think the allocation of resources are changing. I think everybody's observing it. So the allocation of resources to projects tagged with Gen AI are very different. And this is very normal because there is a business opportunity. But my personal opinion is that this is not a separate task. Like the security conversation we had years ago, oh, you should have a security team. They should do their security stuff and we do the business, It is not like that. So if you are in like, I don't know, like in the legal business, if you are practicing law, you have a Gen AI project. If you are in financial services, you have a Gen AI project. It is independent of the teams or like the vertical you're in. Every business, this is like integrated in the core of the business. This is not like a separate team of Gen AI people. They are doing great things in the lab or in the production. Now it is being integrated in the core technology of the companies, and technology is becoming a core business. Like multiple transitions are happening at the same time.
Got it. And you started to go down this path, so I think we should ask this question now, which is, there's a lot of attention being paid to agents and autonomous, workflows. I think just let's start definitionally, because I think a lot of the audience may not really know what a true definition is of an agent. So can you give the audience sort of your definition of like what is an agent? And then in addition to that, maybe some impactful examples or implementations that you've seen of agents today.
Okay. So yeah, first of all, there is no true definition because it's just evolving every day, At the end of the day, the agents are small applications doing tasks for you, but what defines an agent versus not an agent is a good conversation. So the way I look at things is like there must be certain characteristics, in the small application that we are using to be called an agent, And I think these are like getting really settling down, okay? And the first one is definitely needs to be autonomous, It needs to be operating without human supervision, okay? And the second thing, and there's also like a longer conversation, agentic AI versus agents, because the agents, let's focus on the topic, is actually goal-oriented. They have a task, like, do X, do Y. So they are goal-oriented. So let's continue, autonomous, goal-oriented. And the third one is they are interactive. This is very interesting. It is not like an API call. Go and do this call. No, it's not like it. The agents are interactive. They get the response. Based on the response, they answer. So they are autonomous, goal-oriented, interactive. And the fourth one is they are actually using their environment. I read in some place it's called as a prescriptive. So they get the weather data from left. They read a file from here. They go to a database and query database. They are perceiving their environment, and they are getting the data themselves. And the AI part is the last part, which is they are adaptive. They are learning and they are changing, So fast forward, whatever I told you, like autonomous, goal-oriented, interactive, perceptive, and adaptive, these are the parts of this small application, which is doing things for me. So in order to be called agent, the components are, first of all, it collects data, it's on its own, okay? It does reasoning, This is key part, like reasoning. Not too many people get, like, I have a task. I've been running this task for years, but my tasks were doing what I told them, The agents, on the other hand, are reasoning. I got this answer. This is what I'm doing. And also not just reasoning, like the QCLI I'm using, they are taking actions. Oh, I've seen you're using all these files in the wrong folder. Can I put them into the right folder? Like literally. And if I say yes, that's very, by the way, risky move. On my laptop, my QCLI is telling me things, By the way, we have the CLI, tells you a lot of things. It's a very exciting times. But I'm also very super scared. Like it says, I will move all your files. I will create you a GitHub project. I will create the README file. Are you okay with this? It's like, okay, I'm ready. But it's a very different times for the things. Again, like the perception, the reasoning, the actions. And the last two parts for the components, they remember things. It has a memory, and they are adaptive and learning. So these are the components of the agents. Those are the small programs that we are using. And there is not a single day where we do not come up with new ideas for the last 2-3 months lately. So